After working with creatives for the last 11 years, I've heard one statement more than any other. I hate marketing. I get it. It can be painful trying to figure out how to market your book or movie or comic. When I started podcasting, I had no clue how to do any of it. I was afraid of doing it wrong, looking like an idiot or making a marketing mistake that I could not recover from. It can be paralyzing. Sound familiar? If it does, let me see if I can help you. I got my MBA in marketing, so you don't have to. Sign up for a free session today to talk about your marketing goals and to see if we're a good fit. If nothing else, you'll get some insights that might ease your mind. Go to southgatesmallbusiness.com and sign up for a free session today. Welcome to Alley Chats. I'm your host, Rob Southgate. Alley Chats is a virtual artist alley featuring interviews with artists, filmmakers, podcasters, writers, really any creative person you might find at a pop culture convention. My goal is to help draw attention to cool people and to hopefully help them get some new fans. I want this podcast to raise up these amazing people and to inspire you, the listener, to chase your dreams as well. You can follow Alley Chats on Facebook and join the conversation. I'll add more social media in the future, but for now, that's the best place to interact with me. You can also email me directly if you would like to be a guest or have a guest suggestion. My email is rob@smgpods.com. Welcome to Alley Chats. I'm Rob Southgate. Today, I have Tiffany Koplin with me. Tiffany, why don't you tell people who you are, why you're here, what you do, and then we're going to get into this.
Okay. Well, I am an admin for Books of Horror Facebook group. We have about 53,000 members, and it is just a book group that we just talk about horror books. And it's not talking about horror movies or like TV shows and stuff like that. It is actually the first Facebook group that was all subgenres of horror. It wasn't just Stephen King or Dean Koontz based. So it ended up just exploding. It opened up in 2017. I joined the group when it was about 600, and now it's 53,000.
No, I'm looking at it now. It's crossed 54,000.
Oh my goodness.
I've been in the group for what, a month and a half, and it was. I kept telling everybody how it's 51,000. It's amazing, and every time I turn it on, it seems like there's another, half a thousand or 50,000 that go in. I'm like, oh my God, it's or not 50,000, 5,000, but 54,000 is huge. Huge.
Yes. And it's just we do a lot of stuff. We're very, very interactive. Our members are very interactive. And we do quite a bit of stuff. And we're actually having our first ever event that we are putting on. And it will be August 3rd. It's at Double Clutch Brewery in Evanston, Illinois. And it's going to be running from 10 until 4 o'clock. We're going to have about 57 authors. It's going to be a great time. I'm really excited.
Yeah, it's really great. So Saturday, August 3rd, Double Clutch Brewing Company in Evanston. If you've been listening to the show, to Alley Chats, that we've been having a lot of authors on from this event. I mean, it's crazy. It's a great group of people. These books are absolutely stunning. I'm super excited for this. So, okay, that's the business. Let's push that aside. Let's get into you, Tiffany. Let's figure out who you are. How did you end up with this? Are you just like a huge horror nerd?
Actually, most people that are in the group and everything like that, they're huge horror movie buffs. They're like, they know everything horror. I'm kind of not. I like horror movies and stuff, but I don't run out there to watch everything. I also have a kid, so it's been hard to see anything. But no, I just kind of always liked horror books. One of my best friends, when we were in seventh grade, she used to buy a lot of books, and then she would loan them to me, and they were usually like Dean Koontz or some horror book that she found somewhere, and they always, like the crazy 80s covers and early 90s. And oh man, I would devour those. And then I was working at Half Price Books, and I started running the horror section, and I noticed that pretty much all we had was Dean Koontz, Stephen King, and Anne Rice.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I need to learn more about this. I need to get back into, like some of the older paperbacks and things like that. So I found this group on Facebook, and then it completely revived my love of reading horror. And it was amazing. There's a lot of authors that are in there. Like Ramsey Campbell was in there. It was so cool because you could go into the group and you can talk about any kind of book, and there would actually be a book discussion. So it's not a group with like a bunch of memes or, talking about horror movies or anything like that. This is just for horror books. And I just fell in love, and I learned a ton. It's been so much fun.
Yeah, it's like what you want a book club to be, like this horror book club. I have been having the best time in here. Like, see, one of the things people do that I love, and I just did this yesterday, is they'll be in like a thrift store, they'll find a horror book, and they'll post a picture, be like, "Look at my find today." And every time I'm like, "Oh man, I got to run out to a thrift store." Like, there's so much engagement and excitement around it. I love, like you said, that there are these authors like Josh Mallerman's in the group, and he and I have been writing back and forth now, and it's this connection through the group. And I love that you see them just in the comments. It's not like, oh, here's a post from Josh Mallerman. He'll write like, oh yeah, I love the Stephen King book, or I loved this, whatever, or did anybody see Longlegs? It's super great. Like, just in the thread of people talking, and I love that. This is like a real, a very engaged, fun fan group, which is something that it's kind of what we all wanted social media to be. And this hit it out of the park.
Yeah, I mean, the coolest part about the group too is we don't allow people trolling. We don't allow people to start like arguments. You can sit there and talk about, pros and cons of things. You can, discuss like an adult, but if somebody starts to get out of hand, we nip it in the bud right away. We are strict about the rules, which sometimes people get annoyed with, but that's why it's a great place to be able to have real actual discussions about stuff, and it's so fun. And the fact that there's so many authors in there, like sometimes Alma Katsu is in there, and once in a while she'll pop up and say something. Like I said, like Ramsey Campbell, Clay McLeod Chaplin's in there. Who else is in there? Oh, Jeff Strand's in there. Christopher Triana, Keelan Patrick Burke, and Anya Alborn. It's so crazy. Amazing.
It's crazy.
It's so cool.
I actually turned on a bunch of the authors from Four Horsemen, the company I work with. And so now, like Maria DeVivo, who does those the witch cycle books, which are so good, she's in there, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm loving the group she's writing me." She's like, "It's so much fun." Bo Lake with her werewolf books, and then Erica Lance, who's only done a couple of short story collections, but they are frigging terrifying. And I'm like, this is great. People are getting exposed to them. They're not just like, I don't see them promoting them. I see them in there in discussion. And then somebody like, wait a minute, are you Erica Lance? I'm like, oh my God, I love it. I love this community. Yeah. I love it. It's so fun.
My favorite thing is when somebody new joins the group, and then they'll like post, I loved this one book. Like, what does everybody think about the ending or something? And then one of these bigger authors will jump in and start a discussion. And they're like, wait a minute, I'm fangirling for a while. just give me a minute. Like it's been really fun. And then I like the fact that all these authors, they just treat everybody like everybody else. Like, oh no, like, they're not like, oh, I'm so much better than everybody and stuff. And when people start seeing that these authors are like that, they get even more excited, and they feel a lot more connection to those books.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
Now, you do a couple of things also that I wanted to talk about that I think is really cool. And I think you're the one that does this. So I think you're the exact person to ask about this. You have, I know that like the tickets for the thing go through this Etsy shop. And then I'm looking at the Etsy shop and I'm seeing you have these boxes that
Oh
are,
yeah.
yeah, they're like promoting the books. Tell me about this because these are really cool. Is this something specific to the group?
Yes, actually, it is specific to the group. And what it is I started it last summer because some people were talking about how they liked some of the merch I was doing and they wanted to do different kinds of things. And so I just kind of put a poll up there, like, would anybody want me to do book boxes with authors in the group? And people went nuts and they said, absolutely. So some of the authors in the group, I will, contact them and I'll be like, oh, do you have a book coming out around this time? Or if I hear from like a publisher or something like that, like within the group, like, oh, this book's going to come out and it's really, really good. I will put together like these book boxes. And so they're like kind of inexpensive. You get a couple of books of horror merch. I put a call out to all the authors, like anybody who wants to send me bookmarks, stickers, like any kind of swag, I will just put it in the box. And so the members, when I put them on my Etsy and they buy them, they get these books that haven't come out yet. And they're from members in the group, and they get to actually, try them out without ever, like, there's a lot of times you'll stick with a certain subgenre or stick with a certain type of book. And then this is something where you're trying something that you may never would have picked up for yourself and probably end up loving it. I also did a lot with the authors where I asked them just to write like a chapbook. And then I would find an artist that was in the group and see if they would do like the cover for that. So then the artist gets more publicity. The author gets more publicity because with chapbooks, there's a lot of times people will give a chapbook a quick try, because you can read those like just in a sitting, and they'll be like, oh, I just want to read something short. And then they actually get to try the writing from somebody that they may not have picked up before. Mm-hmm. So it's been really fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I am absolutely in love with that idea. In fact, I think I'm going to have to talk business about that with you at some point because of what I do with Four Horsemen. Because as soon as I saw them, I'm like, oh, these are so cool. This is so fun. I wish I had seen this. Did you do one for Whale Fall? Because I am obsessed right now.
Oh, Whale Fall? No, yeah. I didn't. I did. Okay, so last year we did. I did one in the summer, the first one. And we had like 2 chapbooks, and then we had a Megan Stockton exclusive book, and then we did one of Candace Nola's. In the fall, I did a Halloween one. Well, actually I did 3 Halloween ones because they sold out so fast.
Sure.
But then I did a pirate based one where I had authors, like, because how often do you see pirate horror? Like, never. I was like, I want to do something really crazy. I did that, and then I sent out a bunch of these tags for authors to sign, and they were like attached to a pirate key. So then you got like a signed pirate key, and it was really fun. I did a Christmas one where I had I called it like a winter one. So they had either like Christmas or winter horror chapbooks, and then a couple of books. And but yeah, and then I did a couple other ones this year. So, but I haven't done Whale Fall.
Oh, because yeah. Okay, well, I'll just keep watching because you never know. Next summer, you'll be like, let's do all giant, out of control animals from the sea, and I'll be there.
Yeah,
I'll be there.
Yeah, I did the summer one, we had Bull Lake in there by Holly Ray Garcia. And that one, about a shark in a lake. And then the other one was Down into the Sea. And it's like a horror story on Dan Franklin's take of The Little Mermaid, and which was phenomenal. I am like, that is one of my favorite books I read this year.
Okay, you're selling me on that book now. I feel like you're the worst person to talk to if you don't want to lose all your money on books.
Yeah.
Want more shows like this? We've got a lot more on the Southgate Media Group Patreon page. Some free, some paid. Plus, there's exclusive content for subscribers only. Follow the link in the show notes or look up Southgate Media Group on Patreon and check out the cool stuff we're doing over there. You won't be sorry. On August 3rd, 2024, Books of Horror is presenting Books and Brews at Double Clutch Brewing Company in Evanston, Illinois. There will be over 40 horror authors for a book signing and meetup from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m. that day. Meet your favorite authors, discover new authors, meet Books of Horror friends in real life, including the author I'm talking with on this podcast. Oh, and I'll be there too. This is an all-ages event. Food, alcohol, and non-alcoholic beverages will be available. No outside food or drinks will be allowed. Search for Books of Horror Presents Books and Brews on Facebook events for more information, or click on the link in the show notes. I hope to see you there. Okay, another thing that you do, you've got the book brawl. Talk about that.
Yeah.
Talk about that some.
So, there is a guy, his name is Sean McDonald. He is an author and he is awesome. But he has been in the group and as long as I have been in the group, and every March, he always did March Madness with it, like all these like big published authors, and people could just pick out any books and then he would put them in brackets and every day we would vote. Well, for the past couple of years, people kept saying, we have so many indie authors in here, let's do indie authors. And he kept saying no, because it would just be a popularity contest, and, and people don't have time to read the books, and they would just, vote on people's names. And then I just kind of got this idea. I said, you know what? Like, I talked to Sean and I said, hey, why don't we have everybody vote the indie authors like in? So they have to vote 32 out of however many people put their book up. And then we'll give them like 6 months and they have to read all 32 in order to vote. And he was like, you know what? You're right. He was like, let's try it. He's like, what's the worst that can happen? We could, the worst is not one person does it and then nobody votes. And I was like, yeah. So then we pulled in this other guy named Lance and we said, okay, we're going to do this. And he Sean named it the Indie Author Brawl. So we put out there, hey, does anybody want to enter? You're going to enter on this day and we're all just going to, everybody's just going to like, 32 of them and see who, gets in there. I kid you not, we had 140 authors put their books in.
Wow.
And it went crazy. Like everybody voted. So then we got the 32 in. And so we were talking about it. We're like, okay, let's just hope people start reading. And this was last year. Right. Like, let's just hope people, the next thing we know, on Amazon, some of these authors, their books were going to number one. Like They were getting bought so fast. And then the next thing we know, there's like people just like in the group all the time posting about, I have this many brawl reads done. I have this many brawl reads done. It went insane. And Sean's book ended up making it in. And I remember him saying, I have never seen my books sell so much and so fast, because what we were hoping was hopefully 20 people would get into. We ended up having like hundreds of people voting in September. So hundreds of people were doing this. And so September comes around and we were, 2 books are going up against each other and stuff. It was getting to the point where, because we said we were going to screenshot it at 9 o'clock. What was it? Eastern Standard Time. So 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Lance took a screenshot of the poll, like the poll where people were voting. And there were times where it was like they were winning by 1 point. There were times where I just kept refreshing my phone because I wanted to see what the numbers were.
Right.
It was like watching a sports game. It was crazy. That's like super like close together. So it was probably one of the most fun things ever. And then we ended up putting out an intention list at the end of October, which was if you're an author and you're going to put your book in for next year for the 2024 brawl, put your book in the comments. And then there was a lot of authors that got a lot of exposure from there. So when we did voting again at the beginning of April to get in there, we had like thousands of votes for the books to get in. It was crazy. So
Wow.
we have our 32 and it's going really well. It's been so much fun.
Oh, it's so cool. And it's funny because I am not a fast reader. Okay. I'm just not. And I am obsessed with this. I look at it and I'm like, oh my God, to be able to read these 32 books this year and be able to vote, there's something really exciting about it. Never going to happen. I'll be able to read like one and then be like, woo, I did it. But yeah, I love it. I love the whole thing. And I also love that short story collection. This is something that we've talked about with Writers Row, is doing this because we get all these really cool authors and we're like, hey, you want to do some flash fiction? Well, at the end of the year, we'll put it all together as a book. And I saw you guys are doing that with short stories, right?
Yes. So what happened was in 2020, when everybody was, stuck at home and not doing anything, RJ Rolls is, he's an author, but he is also the man who started Books of Horror. So, he's like, the Books of Horror father. In 2020, he saw a lot of people saying, oh, somebody should write a book about this and somebody should write a book about this. And so he just made a post and he said, hey, everybody is stuck at home. A lot of people don't have any other hobbies. I want everybody who has ever thought about writing or thinks they can't, but maybe wants to try. I will do a Books of Horror anthology, and anybody can submit. And we'll help, edit, and we'll find, like some of the members like helped each other by editing, proofreading, all kinds of stuff, giving pointers. And like a lot of authors actually started writing because of that, because they wrote their first short story and RJ published it in the Books of Horror anthology. And so far we have had 4 anthologies, but 2, 3, and 4 have 2 copies each, 2 separate ones.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, because there's so many short stories that came in there, but there's a lot of authors that are actually pretty, popular in the group today. They started because of that.
Now, I'm not going to be mean and ask you who your favorite horror author is. Okay.
Oh, that's too hard anyway.
Right. But I am going to be mean. And I'm going to say,
Okay.
I want you right now. Who are the 3 authors that everybody should pick up right now and read? I know it's a horrible question. And you know what? Here's how I qualify it. I'm going to make you feel a little better, even though I'm horrible with this, right?
Yeah.
This is what you're going to say right now. You could 5 minutes from now go, oh, no, wait a minute, and have a different 3, because that's how I am. But right now,
that's
the 3
how I
that
am.
popped into your head, who are the 3 authors that if you went, Rob, go out and buy these right now, who are the 3 favorites?
Oh, Keelan Patrick Burke. Like, Ken, if you love cannibals and revenge and all kinds of stuff, you have to read Keelan Patrick Burke. He is amazing. Anya Alborn, Brother, I think is probably my favorite book because I could not stop thinking about it. And there's times today where I still think about it, and I read it in 2017 or 18 or something like that. Yeah, but oh my gosh. I've been on a Christopher Triana kick. Christopher Triana is pretty great. I read Gone to See the Gone to See the Riverman was trending a lot like last year in the group. And so I bought it and I was like, oh, I wonder if this is worth the hype. It is something I have never read before, and I was blown away. And then I just read Ex Boogeyman, and that one was like, it's a perfect slasher summer fun one. But his writing is fantastic. But also Dan Franklin is really good. Really good. Like he's got this style of writing that he's so good. You would think he was like been writing forever and he's like in his 60s. He's amazing.
Now, do you like short story? Do you like full novels? I mean, you're going to like both probably, but what's your jam? What's the one that you're like, oh man, give me a novel?
I like full novels. I do. I like full novels. I really like very detailed stories. I know a lot of people think like slow burns are so boring and things like that. I want like a really good developed story, like it, and I like to take my time with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I do like novellas though. I do like, bigger novellas too. I can do that. Because like Dan Franklin's new one is a novella, Down into the Sea. Gone to See the Riverman is short. It's not like that big. Yeah, I don't know, but I do like a very like long developed stuff. Short stories are kind of hard with me. Like some of them are really great, and then some of them I'm like, oh man, if only like I could just get more of this story. So, but yeah.
Yeah. See, that was a good answer. I figured you'd be like everything. But no, there was more to it. Okay, Tiffany. So one more time, everybody, it's books. Well, Books of Horror is the name of the Facebook group that you must join if you're a horror book fan. And you'll see Tiffany's name on there all the time because she's always commenting and sharing stuff. And then Books and Brews is the event that is taking place at Double Clutch Brewing Company in August 3rd. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay,
August
good.
3rd.
You'd think I'd know it. I've said it so many times, but no. So cool. Yeah, definitely. Come on down there, meet all these authors, get in that book brawl. There's just so much fun around this. If you like horror books, this is the group to be part of.
Oh, and we also have a sister group, which is called Freeview. And what it is authors will say, hey, I have an ARC, like I have so many copies of an ARC or an e-ARC or Audible or anything, like I will exchange my book with you if you give me a review. And so this is where a lot of authors kind of start getting traction and more reviews and more social media exposure. And this is also where anybody can go in there and they can get free books that they wouldn't have like read before, and help out an author by giving out reviews or feedback or anything. And it's been huge help.
Yeah, in fact, I'm going to join it. One of the things I do in my VP of marketing roles is I hammer people doing ARCs so they can read books for free and review them, because those reviews mean so much. They help the authors so much. So that is an awesome thing that you have there. I will be telling every author I know about this now. So it's called, is it called Books of Horror Freeview, or is it just Freeview?
Books of Horror Freeview.
Okay, I'm going to type this in, and it's just Freview, correct?
Yeah.
Books of Horror Freeview, because I typed in Freeview and then I saw one of your posts that said the other. Okay, Books of Horror Freeview, I have joined. Okay, everybody, join me in that. I'll also put a link to that in the show notes too. Tiffany, is there any place else you want them to go that they need to know about?
I can't think of anything else. I mean, we are on Instagram. We don't post that much on there, but there is the Books and Brews Instagram has so much information on there, and it's so great. So that one is always really good to check out.
Yeah, excellent. All right. Well, Tiffany, thank you so much. Good luck with the group. Good luck with all these projects. Good luck with Books and Brews. And I look forward to meeting you in person. And I look forward to all of this. This is just such a great group. I'm just loving it. So much fun.
Awesome. Thank you.
It would really help me out if you would rate and review this show on whatever platform you use to listen to this podcast. Good reviews help others find the show, which ultimately helps the people I've interviewed get more exposure. You can connect with me on social media or via email. All the links are found in the show notes. If you like this show, you'll like other shows from Southgate Media Group as well, such as Read Between the Lines, a podcast featuring insightful interviews with some of the hottest authors out there, or Go Fund This, a podcast where we interview people about their amazing crowdfunding projects. You can find our shows wherever you listen to podcasts, so give them a try. And if you like what you hear, don't forget to rate and review our shows. It really helps other people find them and keep our team inspired. Alley Chats is a production of Southgate Media Group, hosted, produced, and edited by me, Rob Southgate. Thanks again for listening to Alley Chats.